Thanks for joining us back here in the SPL. A little upset.
Why are you upset, Tom?
I like Anubis, man. We just didn't get to see a good Anubis game. Really upset. Luckily for us, we can put that one in the past. We'll go forward and look at AI versus Luminosity Gaming. This one's a little less somber and a little bit more exciting, honestly. AI, well, they have to go to relegation, but they are able to play spoiler here if they make LG lose.
Luminosity, they're at 11 points here, tied with E-United here at 11 as well. So all they have to do is win one game, and they're guaranteed to go into Valencia.
That's it. Now, if they don't, then we'll see United show up. But that's a big if. AI are certainly no slouches, despite finding themselves in a situation where they're actually going to have to go to relegation. This team is a strong team, despite some of the recent changes.
Sure, Elchapo and XenoTronics joining the forces, but honestly, the way Chapo plays, it's actually for the better good of AI, the way he can lead a squad. And XenoTronics playing a hunter role, he's been able to make the plays happen. The only thing wrong that I'm seeing with him is sometimes his over-aggression. He likes to try to make these 1v1 plays happen. As long as he peels that back a little bit, lets Chapo make the plays in the jungle side, AI should be in a good spot.
Yeah, I think it's a nice look going forward. I'm glad Chapo's back in the scene as well. He's a player that came over from the console league and had some recent success, and we'll see if that continues with the guys on AI. We'll head to picks and bans right about now and see where they wind up. Luminosity will have the first selection, so we'll see which way they go. And right away, LG looking at the jungler, Naja, take it off the table.
Just a lot of playmaking opportunity from this Naja pick. I wouldn't be surprised if Luminosity actually even banned another jungler against Chapo, trying to take any sort of action away from him. Maybe Susanoo or...
the Circuit.
It's going to be the Circuit. I wouldn't be surprised if they first picked the Susanoo for a mask here.
That's what I'm expecting, totally. I think that we'll see two bans out of the jungle. The Susanoo, very intelligent AI ban right there, if you ask me. Keeping Mask at bay, at least for now. Mask certainly has a very large god pool. I think that's why part of the reason why Luminosity has been so relatively successful, and instead LG will go ahead and focus on the solo lane with the Osiris at first selection.
I'm a little surprised that Luminosity are prioritizing ScaryD's pick right off the bat, considering both Osiris and Bellona were available. It's unlikely AI would take both of those to have Chapo play one of those in the jungle, as he really prefers the assassin styles. But either way, if you give ScaryD a comfort pick, then you don't really have to worry too much about his lane.
That's the key there for LG. I think ScaryD has been a question mark for them throughout the split. Towards the end of last year, ScaryD sort of surged up and became a very big part of the team, which is why LG were successful then. Now he's kind of slipping, and that's why they're not as successful.
Look at this Ares pick for AI, comfort pick for Aror right off the bat. Also picking it before the secondary ban phase, and Luminosity, they picked up the Thor earlier on, so Mask has to be very careful about his positioning against that cripple.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of powerful when you're trying to keep Thor at bay, or rather closer to you, without allowing him to teleport to the hammer. Geb and Rom banned out in turn 2, and Scylla and Ra will be banned out by Luminosity in their second ban phase, and Thoth will join the ranks of AI in the mid lane, most likely pairing up with Chapo on that Hun Batz for that jungle mid synergy. Nice control coming up from the Hun Batz will leave Thoth to do the damage.
Ra and Scylla banned away is just not really enough to take away the options from TheBest. He can play almost any mid-mage that he really wants to, whether it's the Poseidon or the Thoth that was available. He can even go to the Agni if he wants to. He really prefers that kind of heavy, long-range artillery style. Medusa and Fafnir locked in for Luminosity out of the Sex Tank.
Nike is going to be the solo laner of choice for Divios, one of the few solo laners that actually still enjoys this character over in North America. She just never really dies, but it's a passive that I think teams really enjoy.
It's just so easy to build up those stacks here. Whether or not you get those 10 kills for your team, you're guaranteed to get the 250 minions, which will give you the mobility and power that you need. And if the game lasts long enough, you'll definitely get the second one as well.
Medusa versus the Hou-Yi in the long lane. Certainly going to be looking at that one with XenoTronics being the new hunter versus the legendary BaRRaCCuDDa. Certainly want to keep an eye on over there. And as we said, mask on the Thor. We brought up the why he has to be careful because of Aror's Ares, but he also certainly going to do a lot of work here as well.
Luminosity definitely respecting the early game potential out of AI with this Ares pick. 3 chains at level 1 does a significant amount of damage, and Luminosity are just all grouped up. They dropped a ward on the bottom right Harpy, bottom left, and then even at the red buff from AI as a unit, making sure no one gets picked off alone and isolated, even wanting to see how AI starts off the game.
And so right now we're going to see kind of standard stuff. Hoyi rotating over here to the right side. So you mentioned Luminosity trying to keep their eyes on the enemy. Well, AI is going to do basically the same thing. And we'll see actually a start in the jungle from both of these duo lanes.
I love what Mask is doing here. He's willing to take the Archer and melee minion poke here just to get off guaranteed in-hands as a Thor. You're really utilizing that passive to get the physical power amplification. Chapo trying to trade off in-hands, but it's not going his way.
That's the trouble with Thor and the early game, because that passive's so important, like you mentioned. He's just going to swing harder than you at this point in the game. So Chapo trying to make that trade, probably not ideal.
No, not ideal at all. It's going to see Luminosity clearing the midway first and then look for the speed buff invade. And if they successfully secure those ones, they're going to find some more health for Mask off of the Bumba's Mask.
So right now, Mask and Baskin heading into the enemy jungle and will successfully get that invade, leaving the neutral camps on the left side for the enemy team AI.
Left side mid Harpies will even go for AI. They're able to give up those speed buffs and trying to find some farm in return, but it's Baskin that split away from his jungler and soul laner to get the right side.
Gary's looking for the extra damage early on, gets the kill. Aror right on top of BaRRaCCuDDa, finding the chains and the flames, getting the kill and taking names.
What was most impressive about that whole play from Aror was his juking of the stun from JeffHindla. He was able to sidestep that while he activated his flames. And this is going to allow AI a huge lead in that duo lane. Now, granted, Aror did get the first blood bounty, but as an Ares, that's probably one of the best supports to receive that bounty. And on top of that, the death was onto BaRRaCCuDDa, so that alleviates a lot of pressure from XenoTronics.
I mean, that's really what you're looking for out of that solo, or excuse me, out of that duo lane. And when you're looking at Aror here, yeah, he's in the support position, but he's in this leadership position as well. So if whatever he can do to sort of catapult his duo lane, and by respects that his team, is certainly what he's looking for. So giving him the first blood, we're going to see Ares with some extra early game pressure. Now Xeno can just sort of farm under the tower and do what he needs to.
And doing what he needs to is ScaryD on the right-hand side. Having level 5 before Divios, you can really tell how comfortable he is playing this Osiris, just not having any sort of fear, being able to pressure this wave under the tier 1 tower from Divios and denying a decent amount of gold.
I mean, he's diving the tower, just finding the stun onto Big D right there, and Divios unable to really find these this damage just yet with the Ren, still waiting a little bit for himself to come online.
He's going to be losing the 75 gold from the melee minions every single time under that tower. He's able to clear out the archers rather effectively, but as long as the tether stun happens at the right timing, he can even disrupt the Ren, and that's the whole goal from ScaryD is when he's diving this tower, quote unquote, he's not actually damaging Divios, so he's not getting aggro from the tower. He's just using that tether to mitigate the damage from the Ren, as well as stunning out Divios.
ScaryD kind of confident here in this matchup, but we'll see who actually gets the better of each other over there in the solo lane. Big invade coming up from Team AI on the left side of the map, looking for Luminosity's red buff, and 3 players strong. We'll see it. Chapo picks up the red buff.
I like the idea, though, because of relying on the crit. Beautiful jump from Xeno, barely avoiding that ultimate from Mask.
It's all about the audio cues, folks. You hear that for a brief second, you hear this like...
Yep. Not only that, you can look at Thor, and you see him spinning his hammer,
yeah.
And once you see him stop spinning the hammer, it's go time.
Yeah, so you got to look up to the sky and then also keep your ears open as well, and you can actually make that play. We'll see that play happen more often than not from these Pro League players, as long as there's nothing else to care about, because like I said, you got to listen, you got to look up to the sky. If you're doing that, you're certainly going to get killed by somebody on the ground. So as long as there's nothing else going around, yeah, Thor ult is play aroundable. But there usually are a lot of things happening, and so with so many noises in the game, well, you can't always hear it.
You got to increase your multitasking abilities if you're to be successful here in the SPL, and both of these teams have a lot of tenured experience making the plays happen. You know, Divios back in the COD days making things happen. TheBest as well, formerly with Dignitas. Aror with Eager, 4th place I think it was at last year's Worlds, doing a good job.
Bring up, yeah, I mean, TheBest has certainly been playing for a long time, and you bring up Dignitas. You were on that team. What should we look for out of TheBest here in this game, knowing that he's playing spoiler? He's not really playing for himself. He's playing to kind of make LG lose. Are we going to see some players kind of thrive off of that? Is TheBest that type of guy?
TheBest will just play his game. He doesn't really live or die off of the pressure. He's just here to play some good old-fashioned Smite, and what he's increased on is his positioning, but ScaryD's positioning might be in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, the early teleport from Chapo. I didn't like that play right there. Still probably could have gotten the kill had he waited to teleport, but instead, ScaryD gets the better of Divios and Chapo, and now Baskin making the rotation from middle lane. Here he comes with the damage at a soul. Chapo doesn't want to engage just yet. Still on the right side. There's Divios over the wall. In comes Mask and JeffHindla. 4 players strong on the right side of the map, but no chance at the Gold Fury on the left side, as it's just a lonely Medusa who does not have lifesteal just yet.
And I'm really surprised to see like this kind of a rotation early on from JeffHindla, trying to really shut down the pressure that AI has. Surprising not to see a kill onto ScaryD there. You could tell there was some disconnect as Divios jumped onto ScaryD trying to find the kill. There was Chapo was a little hesitant. He didn't want to fully commit like you mentioned before. He missed a teleport and he wants to use that jump to disengage more than anything else.
Right, and so just a little trouble for the monkey early on. Kind of really thought he would save the teleport for after the jump.
It could have been a situation where it just didn't last long enough, stunning onto Baskin, and here comes XenoTronics.
going to be damage onto TheBest, but he finds himself
final
safe.
judgment.
Baskin also finds himself safe.
Best just missing that final judgment. Not really any low targets either on the side of Luminosity. A little bit of a questionable play from the mid laner.
So instead, BaRRaCCuDDa is able to pick up the red buff. Kind of no problem, but he's getting flanked right now. Aror coming from the right side. The call is made by JeffHindla, and BaRRa will back off and instead look towards the purple.
Relying on his support to be a secondary set of eyes in the jungle is very important in competition. Really trying to min-max any sort of plays that you can make. BaRRaCCuDDa was trying to box against XenoTronics there, but when you're a level behind here, just now hitting level 8 as a Medusa, you're better off looking for some farming potential. But respecting the fact that BaRRaCCuDDa has the red buff, it makes sense as to why he's looking for those trades.
Right. I mean, you'll have the red buff now, and also BaRRaCCuDDa in about basically at the second item. BaRRaCCuDDa's abilities, I think, wind up trumping those of XenoTronics. They're just able to really come up a little bit stronger. Medusa, that acid spray, very, very, very powerful early on, as opposed to the XenoTronics, who, after the ricochet, kind of needs, you know, a little bit more time with his basics and abilities and items, rather. And
as long as Ricochet doesn't find a double bounce, then BaRRaCCuDDa will win those trades every single time, especially with a natural steroid from BaRRaCCuDDa. The little bit of poison additions here for some damage over time. It's going to allow him to win the trades before the mark of the Golden Crow from XenoTronics really get online and start punishing everyone.
See the ultimate used right there out of the Ho Yi, more to allow himself free roam of the jungle, and he's going to look towards his gold harpies, but they won't belong to Xeno by himself. Instead, he jumps right back into the Medusa. Here comes TheBest, Aror, and Chapo.
Trying to make a play happen. Aror is right around the corner. He has Blink, avoiding the stun from Mask, but it's going to be BaRRaCCuDDa eating 2 chains. Third one even connecting onto Mask. Forced to use the beads after TheBest. Oh, he's going to get pulled back in.
And there's trouble as TheBest just blows him up with the ultimate. Rough. And that's just a mental mistake coming out from Mask. He uses the beads, understanding that he has to get away from the chains, and then just sits there and goes, oh.
But the third chain, Aror used 2 chains on BaRRaCCuDDa, gets off of him, makes a 180, connects on the third one onto Mask, and you could just tell Aror is probably the best Ares player in the world.
Really? Sure, I think that's a tall thing to say, but I mean, he certainly does do the character justice.
I mean, who is it? There's Murder.
Collis.
Collis is pretty good with it too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of options here. There's a couple of options, I suppose, but I see where you're going, and more importantly, I at least respect the opinion that you hold there. I think that Aror certainly has shown his stuff on the aggressive supports, Ares being one of them. And, you know, watching that sequence, yeah, sure. That was a lot of fun watching him grab the 2. And like you said, just the snap third shot.
It's just all about the focus here that he has on this god. He knows the timing window between each and every single chain. He knows also how to hit these max distance chains, which is a more difficult shot to hit. It's very easy to hit the chain when you're like point blank range, but at max range, the width matters so much. And Best dashing in, finding a stun in the mid lane. XenoTronics getting deterred from JeffHindla, but it's Mask getting caught out of position.
Aror, give him the first blood. He'll get you a second blood and then the third blood as well. Still in the middle of the lane, team fight happening. Best dashes away. ScaryD goes for the chase. Here comes BaRRaCCuDDa out of the left lane, gets the kill. ScaryD puts the dot on him. Down goes the Best. Still a 1-for-1, but Baskin makes that a 1-for-2 for Luminosity. Divios, backline, playing it safe, doesn't want to die, and because of that, LG wind up just losing Mask in exchange for Best and Aror.
Nice rotation from ScaryD, able to make the plays happen. Best overcommitted with the dash initially, trying to kill onto Mask, and they get it successfully, but without that dash, it was so easy for ScaryD to punish that mid-mage. Now having this we're going to see the mystical mail from him just to be able to get off more damage as he continues to zone.
High basic attack damage coming out of both Soul and BaRRaCCuDDa's Medusa. XenoTronics to be chased out. Here comes Chapo looking for ScaryD. They get him. Mask lands down, takes out XenoTronics. The jump over the wall is good for the monkey, and the Best confirms the kill on a Mask as he goes a little bit too deep. It's 5-3, Team AI ahead, at least in the kills.
Definitely not worth killing XenoTronics because they were forced to reset the goal here and forced to lose the third member as BaRRaCCuDDa just couldn't get away from the action. And AI, every single kill they get, they're getting closer and closer to that Nike passive stack. Once that 10 kill marker happens, more movement speed and damage out of the side of AI.
And that's exactly what they want to do. They're looking to stay aggressive early on. That's why we're seeing the plays happen all over the map. Divios actually going to back here in the left lane, just sort of showing you how versatile everybody has been, at least with their location.
Getting that bracer of undoing, not trying to go for that height of Urchin, surprisingly enough, despite the success that AI has had in some of these early engagements here. Not even 13 minutes into the game, trying to make more things happen here around this goal here. It seems that the Best is just trying to farm instead of look for a play.
And I think that's totally fine. I think the Best on the Thoth, excuse me, kind of needs the farm. So yeah, let him just hang out, let him do his thing.
Especially when he has this Doom Orb at 24 stacks. He did die earlier on when he had about 25 or so. So he's trying to regain some of this back towards getting that huge magical power to allow his final judgments to truly be felt.
And looking at that one, ooh, Chapel gets controlled. Thought we might have seen Fear No Evil, but you know, taking a look towards the mid lane one more time. Look at those boots. The Best are actually opting for Talaria boots.
It seems that he just really wants the mobility out of combat to get back into the thick of things. The amount of separation that you can have whenever you dash backwards through a wall is just so great that you're really relying on the HP 5 to get back into the team fight, along with just repositioning yourself. And that's something that the Best has really improved on throughout his SPL career. He was always able to hit any of his skill shots, no matter what god he was playing.
Right.
The question was always about whether or not his positioning was up to par.
And here as of late, certainly looks a lot better. The Best on the Thoth. It's been a rough split for Team AI. Obviously, letting go of Zapman, and not only Zapman, but also the organization, and having a lot of that conversation being a part of what they're doing. Chapo trying to start a conversation by himself, dropping the ultimate, but then disengages. Aror instead finds some of these chains, and he'll be in trouble now. He gets landed on by Mask, but ultimately, very odd engagement coming out from AI. I think it was miscommunicated. I think it was
Aror. He's looking for the blink potential onto Mask. He doesn't have the ultimate or the bees, and that's why Aror was trying to go for it potentially, but ScaryD, he's zoning out all 5 members.
There's the ultimate out of the Ho Yi, and big damage on the Chapo, who's actually going to fall to the hand of the Bluestone Pendant on BaRRaCCuDDa. The Best goes ahead and dishes out some damage, but not enough to really concern Luminosity. Enough to make them go ahead and retreat. We'll see ScaryD head back to base, but my last point on AI being is that everything seems kind of out of whack. We're going to get the kill on the JeffHindla here. Divios credit for that one. Ult for a kill on the support. Sure.
No CC immunity without that Draconic form. Very easy play from Aror. He kind of wanted to go for a mask, I feel like, in that earlier exchange without the Anvil of Dawn, without the beads on that jungler. Very easy opportunity. But hey, if you're Aror, beggars can't be choosers, and he'll take a free kill when he'll take a free kill.
Exactly. That was exactly well put. He was looking for the right target, but couldn't find it. Oh, well, take one. But you know, when it comes down to it, I look at AI, and their split has been very problematic for them, both in the game and off the game. And I think that looking at what Team AI is doing here, they just have to look towards the future, honestly. I'd like to see them win a game today here versus LG. I think it's very possible. And, I mean, technically they're in the lead right now, you know, just 700 gold, but still, or 1,500 gold, excuse me, double that. But at least something to hang their hat on. Kills 7-5 as well, just 15 minutes in, and AI certainly playing like a team that can contend.
Luminosity, they're not playing up to the standards that they set for themselves earlier on in the spring split. The way they've been kind of setting the bar in the North American standards. Still grouped up though is AI. They're really trying to punish Luminosity for not getting any sort of advantage.
Not at all, and that's kind of the problem here, is that when you're looking at BaRRaCCuDDa on the Medusa, excuse me. Mind blank for the moment. When you're looking at BaRRaCCuDDa on the Medusa, she's supposed to be doing more work than Xeno is this early on. You're supposed to have this mid-game composition as the invade one more time pays off, and Elchapo gets the kill. Baskin making the rotation from the mid lane, looking for Aror, who's out of there with 10%. Here comes Chapo jumping in right on top of the mage, right into the Suns, but it's Chapo who's Sun and Baskin. Down for the count goes the sole player. BaRRaCCuDDa finds a nice stun out of his ultimate, but the damage has been done. 2 players dead on the side of LG.
Look at Best. Look at Best stunning BaRRaCCuDDa through the wall. He knew what he was doing the whole time, just waiting like a predator.
And that's what TheBest does, man. Half HP on the Gold Fury as Xeno and TheBest try to deal with it. Xeno relatively low, and Best has to tank it, and because of that, we'll see the retreat. Scary D shows his face. Mask looking for the double tap. Can't and won't. As XenoTronics jumps away. 2 chains. Aror kind of waiting it out, but that will be it onto the Thor.
And not wanting to go back into the action, considering Aror has his ultimate. The beads was available for a mask, but not wanting to use it. And AI have been doing a great job of taking advantage of these bead cooldowns here. Mask didn't have the beads the last time around, so what happens? They group up. They use the Fear No Evil. Easy kill. BaRRaCCuDDa barely even like recognized what was going on because the red buff just was secured from Luminosity. He's like, all right, I guess I'm going to go back to the Duel Link to farm it up. I'm like, oh, wait, we're fighting now? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm dead now? Oh, okay.
Oops, I feel like that's a lot of the comms right now.
It's just not looking too pretty at all for Luminosity, and AI with their 10th kill on the board, allowing this Nike stack to happen here. Pretty sure that they already have that 250 minion counter as well, so sitting at a 2 out of 3. And what's most important about that whole last engagement as well was the fact that Aror, he didn't get knocked up by the Soul Supernova because of that Stone of Gaia. Really expecting that to prevent the chain combination, and picking up this item so early is allowing him to remain on the aggressive side of things.
Yeah, it's a ton of HP as well, which is why we see the Swift Wing come out. That's going to bring some health as well. So nice little itemization choices coming out from Aror here. But again, you know, looking at the compositions, not through a microscope, but instead from a distance, Luminosity is all mid-game. This is where they should be winning if you want to play the game on paper. I mean, Thor, BaRRaCCuDDa, even Scary D on the Osiris, so it's a little bit different. There's a lot of early and mid-game prowess here on Luminosity. And then you look across the way and you've got a Hou-Yi and a Thoth. I mean, that's late.
That is true, and as well as a Nike that's being able to, you know, synergize those late game gods with the passive for some more damage. And Auror's defenses from the bolster defenses is nothing to scoff at. It will provide some crowd control reduction that you're really looking forward to in some of these late game sieges.
Yeah, and that's a big help as Aror is able to bring out some of these other tools, not just crippling out the opposition, but also finding the pulls as well. So offensive is mainly Ares' game, but as totally noted, we do have a little bit of help for his friends as the game goes later and later, and we, you know, kind of put a couple more minutes on the clock.
Mask showing his face around the left-hand side. We're seeing fully stacked off Transcends from BaRRaCCuDDa, having a little bit of a power spike, feeling a little frisky around this. Gold Fury's Divios getting poked out.
Half HP already, a little bit of help as skirmishes makes him his target. Here's Xeno getting jumped on, didn't hear that one, but it's Elchapo saving the life of his mid laner, or his hunter, excuse me. Mask finds the short hammer throw and will be safe. Upside top, though, XenoTronics in some trouble underneath the tower, and it's TheBest that takes care of skirmishes after the dive, but BaRRa wraps around and finishes the party.
Covering the option, now Aror trying to find a pull onto one. We'll secure out Baskin here. The jump from Divios doesn't even matter. It's Aror confirming that one 3 for 2 in the favor of AI.
BaRRa. Okay, BaRRaCCuDDa gets out. I expect him to die there. Nice little dash. The Aegis saving his life. Aror should catch up here.
Yeah. There's no way you're going to outrun an Ares that has Traveler Shoes to be able to increase the mobility out of combat along with the Swift Wing, especially before the Fatalis gets complete from BaRRaCCuDDa. Just now finishing off that Executioner. Not able to really find their footing as Luminosity, they lose 4 members, and it looks like they're going to lose their Tier 1 mid tower.
This is trouble. Like we said, Luminosity need to find a win here. All they need is a single win.
Yes.
And that brings them to Valencia, but they need to find a win. Aror finds a single chain.
Oh, look at the teleport. The teleport underneath here. Mask and skirmishes trying to catch TheBest out of position. Even JeffHindla trying to find the jump in the tether. Will find the secure here with Mask.
I like the decision to split up, though, from Aror, understanding that, you know, one of us is going to die here. We understand that. Who is it? Now, it will likely be you, because you have a Doom Orb and you're a mage and I'm an Ares, but still, one player dies. Earlier in the day, we saw, what was it, Space Station play against United, and repeatedly we actually saw the Gab try and help out on both sides, and wound up dying. You don't always have to throw your life away in that scenario. So I like the decision coming out from Aror to make the enemy pick.
Better 1 than 2 for sure,
Exactly.
but you never really know if the chains will slow down your chasers to be able to get away on the both sides. So it's a risk versus a reward thing. Rather play it safe than sorry. Diving into the backline, this Mask catching Aror. They're going to shut down this Ares.
Nice and early. Aror goes down, and that means he's not going to be able to ult anybody later on in the team fight. Chapo picks up BaRRaCCuDDa, but it's Mask who turns around and puts Chapo back down to the ground.
Divios in a little bit of trouble, but he uses that bracer to get all his health back, but it's Xeno caught between a rock and a hard place. skirmishes taking him out.
And that's going to be good enough for Luminosity to start up not the Gold Fury.
Well, it's a good comeback for them. They just lost a previous team fight 4-1, I think, or maybe 4-2.
Why don't we see the Gold Fury start, though, especially with a Fafnir and Baskin?
TheBest with Final Judgment is just too risky right now. He's sitting at level 17. You could maybe zone him out with skirmishes, but if we look at his items here after we take away from the graphs, he doesn't have too much magical defense. He just...
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Divios here. It's actually, yeah, there's not too much magical defense on the side of skirmishes either. Trying to finish off this Shogun's Kusari. Has a decent amount of health between the Mystical Mail and the Winged Blade, but it's really not enough to survive against a level 17 Thoth that almost has fully stacked up Doomworm.
Well, here we're going to see the late pull on the Gold Fury. This time everybody's around, and I think that's why we see it. Now Aror shows his face. He gets hit by the hammer. He gets hit by skirmishes as well. No stun as we see the outrun of the troublesome situation there, and LG are able to go ahead and secure their Gold Fury. AI are looking for the fight afterwards, however. Chapo does have the ultimate, but he gets zoned out a little bit by the Thor.
I like the fact that Aror is trying to wait for that blink opportunity, and Luminosity are countering him completely by baiting him into a position where everybody is just going onto Aror. All attention and eyes on this Ares.
And because of that one, you know, he's kind of being kept out, and what he was able to do in the early game, finding himself with 4 kills and 8 assists, quickly is going to become less and less of an issue for Luminosity should they keep playing in this direction.
But despite losing the Gold Fury, AI respond in kind with an objective on the right-hand side, getting 750 gold from the Portal Demon. Mask will go into the sky, trying to land in the back. Fear no evil, going to force a disengage.
And it's going to be forced out the beads onto the Thor as Chapo drops his ultimate as well. Xeno trying to drop down Great Suns to separate his team and the enemy. Skirmishes jumps over anyway, and so does the Best's helper.
Aror gonna fall down. XenoTronics gonna get chased down by skirmishes. A second kill for the Osiris. Just nowhere to go for him yet again. 3 members standing strong here for AI, but with this kind of player advantage, Luminosity, I think they're going for the Fire Giant with this AoE coerce.
They should, and this is the right play. This is the comeback as well. Big D's around the corner, and so they have to be careful about the Nike, or they can just crowd control him right into the damage of the Fire Giant. Love the positioning there, though I have to question if it was completely intentional. Luminosity still giving chase. skirmishes looking for Divios, but it's Chapo and TheBest. They're able to zone him out.
He has final judgments. Is skirmishes diving the tier 2 tower? Luminosity, they need to either commit or get off right now because that final judgment will steal it away. Stellar Burst gonna slow out Chapo, trying to retreat under TheBest and taking so much time off of the Fire Giant. It regains its health back to half.
And that's gonna be just a good enough play coming out from LG. Aror's not getting in there. Here comes Chapo. Fear No Evil goes down, but it's too late. Luminosity secure the Fire Giant. The fight after, different story. Hunter goes down to the hand of Aror. Chapo is going to be taken care of by skirmishes, but Aror's still very healthy. Everybody else on Luminosity, not the case. Here comes Aror. He's going to get the pull on a Scary. Thorns is activated, but it do not matter. Aror finds kill number 6. And only 3 players have the Fire Giant left on Luminosity.
However, it is on Baskin, which is a scary thought whenever it's a level 17 soul that has a decent amount of damage if her heat is fully stacked up. And that's something that AI is going to be looking forward to. However, 4 members stand strong here. And despite not having Fire Giant, they have the player advantage and they go for this tier 2.
There's the jump forward from Divios. Finally the knock up on a Mask who's crippled and can't get out thanks to the hammer. Tier 2 tower going to go down. Good decision making by Xeno to stick on the tower and not chase the kills. Tier 2 in the mid goes down. That's 1,500 in the pocket for Team AI, and so they're going to turn around, strip the enemy jungle, and then get some of the jungle of their own.
XenoTronics just fulfilling his role in his job as a Hunter player, neglecting all the players on the opposition, just going for the tower instead. As a Hunter, that's what you really have to do. Utilize your penetration and your attack speed to be able to melt some of these objectives. And Luminosity need to find some answers with their Fire Giant buff for still another 2.5 minutes while they have it.
Right now, AI are going to do their best to sort of stop that from happening. Mask and JeffHindla here on the left side still do have their Fire Giant available, but as you said, the scariest person with it is probably going to be Baskin because of this.
Tier 1 goes down the left-hand side. They're still trying to make the plays happen. AI, though, they're positioned around to defend this, except for Chapo that's coming back from base now. Nice little stun from Mask. Girl even gets popped from JeffHindla. Right-hand side, the Aurora, he's looking for the blink.
Yeah, and you can see here's Mask on the backside trying to keep him in combat, preventing the blink. Aurora sees the ultimate out of the Thor, and he'll go right into the party lane. skirmishes trying to deal. Down comes Mask, double stun. The stuns are good from Xeno. BaRRA goes down. Beth picks up Baskin as well. 1-2 for nothing so far. JeffHindla so low, but it's TheBest that's taken out Mask again. 5 players still alive. JeffHindla's gonna go down here as TheBest finds the last shot onto the support. skirmishes alive, but it do not matter. Ares and Team AI looking for their next objective. Fire Giant and Goldfear are both down totally.
It's just not enough of an advantage that Luminosity had to continue the siege under the tier 2 tower. Despite having 3 members with Fire Giant between Mask, Bask, and JeffHindla in a 5v5 scenario, especially with Ares, Blink, it's just so easy for AI to make the plays happen. And I feel like they were playing around Aror a little bit too much here. We're seeing how Mask was positioning himself around the team fights, putting him into combat. Oh, nice little play though from skirmishes. He's going to be able to catch out Aror at least.
Yeah, he's going to look for him. Catch is a different story because here comes Big D jumping right on top, finding the knockup, and gonna have to walk in the other direction.
No
big
jump.
Damage out of TheBest, but still, BaRRaCCuDDa with bigger damage, taking down Divios.
Sprint being popped from Aror, trying to save everyone else from AI, but here comes the teleport from Mask. Underneath, he pops the ultimate. He lands on Aror, but a nice blink gonna prevent that one from happening.
Double tap will still do some damage. The Zerkers is interrupted. And XenoTronics has to activate the Aegis. Trouble here. Great ultimate from Chapo. Gonna isolate Mask. Put him in the ground. There's a pull. Aror still alive. Best takes out another player. 9 in total for the mid lane.
Luminosity just can't get anything rolling at all. Despite killing Divios, they lose 2 in the process. And now it's actually going to be Chapo taken out by Baskin. Nice little play from Luminosity, at least responding 1 more additional kill to their column.
Unfortunately, Luminosity keep making these responses. This is the second or third time that we've seen these responses, but they're just that. They're responses.
It's just too much counter engagement going on from AI. They're having to worry about these huge AoE ultimates between Chapo's Fear No Evil and then the No Escape from Aror. Those 2 abilities alone create so much chaos and havoc that Luminosity just can't seem to adapt towards.
You have to use your beads on one of those. This is the classic setup for Ares, is when you pair them up with a Hun Batz. Either you don't beads a Fear No Evil and you die in it, or you do beads it and then you die to Ares, or vice versa. It is one of the older strategies in Smite, and certainly one that's a lot of fun to watch when you have talented players at both of those positions. And Aror and Chapo, well, they're certainly going to fill those roles.
And because of all the kills and farm that Aror has gotten for himself, he has this 4-level lead over JeffHindla, and escalating himself towards this late game as his support, you're getting more of these base stats between your health, your mana, and everything in kind. And this has been one of the scariest Ares performances that I've seen in quite a long time.
Chapo controlled, big target focus on the Jungle Monkey, as he's going to be a big part of what Luminosity needs to fear from Team AI. Now teams dancing around the Fire Giant. Luminosity certainly around here and waiting to go for it. Looking at the Portal Demon first.
Trying to find another objective. Best is setting up a stunt potentially here. Dashing through in towards those right side mid harpies, but not going to find his target quite yet. But doing a good job forcing Luminosity to disengage from the Portal Demon, fighting over every single little objective.
And that's really the key here. You have to. You can't give up anything in these types of games. Everything's on the line.
Especially for their spotting towards Valencia. Luminosity needs just 1 win. AI are just going to be playing spoiler here, trying to confirm an objective of their own here. Portal Demon being flirted with, keeps getting reset at about half health, but here comes Divios.
Looking for the left, now looking for the right. It's BaRRaCCuDDa by himself. Scary D gonna peel the enemy Soul Later off his Hunter, but jumping forward is TheBest from a distance, taking out BaRRaCCuDDa. Ares has a couple, not gonna pull Baskin, but it's JeffHindla that's in trouble. Divios trying to tank in between the Hunter and the mid lane support. And JeffHindla in trouble. There's the shot. Xeno on the top. Divios on the bottom. 2 players dead across the map. And it's all about Team AI here.
How is TheBest still alive? Scary D is teleporting in. He misses the flail. The tether is not going to really matter with a nice dash from TheBest. Just constantly baiting out Scary D. AI at the top of that one with a 3-for-0 exchange.
But still, Team AI very low. Aror 40% HP. He has to stay here to make sure that Luminosity don't slowly get the Portal Demon.
That's true. Scary D can easily tank that objective while Baskin melts it. And look at this mid lane. The Phoenix Hounds respawn. Titan took a little bit of its health pool, about 20% or so. But as long as this mid Phoenix stays alive, it will regain all of its health.
Yeah, they being Luminosity, we have to see a lot of more defensive setup here. Luckily, the Phoenix is alive, and so that allows them to defend, but the Fire Giant already down, and, well, only 90%. Not a lot of damage coming out from AI just yet. They're more looking for the fight.
They need to look for the fight because there's another Fire Minion wave in the mid lane. Mask forced to go into the sky, barely escapes into safety, but he lands back down.
Lands on 2, and it's Mask that takes out Aror before the ultimate comes out from the Ares. Divios pops an ultimate of his own. The ultimate from Best sends 2 players down into sub 10%. Scary D and BaRRaCCuDDa both have to head back to the base. Baskin relatively healthy, and JeffHindla with half HP.
It's too late, I think. Oh, it's just in the nick of time. They saved their middle Phoenix from that Fire Minion wave. They actually had to sacrifice clearing the mid wave just to get into the fight there. Baskin was making that internal debate, but all things went the way of Luminosity. Even finding a kill onto XenoTronics on the right-hand side. They're not done yet. They're chasing down because Chapo is just so low. Divios is also at half health. The Stellar Burst actually almost took out Chapo as he was trying to pick up that speed buff.
Yeah, but he was able to get out of there. Still not a good look. Chapo ultimate up to be going to be up very soon. Team AI do have the portal demon, but a very dangerous portal that would be to take. And Divios doesn't care. He walks right on through.
The girdle is popped as well as the AoE
the best.
The fire shine secured.
The best. He takes it through the wall. Right way. That's the way Thoth guy does it. Luminosity come up short on the objective.
Not able to steal that one away. That's why you have to worry about the best playing the stuff. Whether or not he has final judgment available. Mask gets taken out by Aror. They're not done yet. Best gets a second one onto BaRRaCCuDDa. Baskin onto Aror, while Divios takes out Jeff.
Final judgment used in the fight, but it's Baskin taking down the best of 3 for 3 so far. Chapo comes through the portal, half HP, teleports to the other side of the team fight. Baskin in trouble. Baskin jumped on. Great stun by ScaryD actually confirms the kill on Elchapo. And without that judgment tether, this fight goes the way of Team AI. Instead, all the way around, ScaryD, the timing, perfect, saves the life of himself and his mid laner, the Fire Giant Seal, all gone. It's yesterday's news. The team has been wiped. Team AI still have the lead, Toli, but the momentum, that belongs to LG.
Absolutely. Great play, though, from Best, being able to steal away that Fire Giant. Had that Fire Giant not got stolen, Luminosity, they win that team fight. They're able to probably counter-push one of these lanes to guarantee themselves another Phoenix here. But it's actually XenoTronics that's taking more damage than he wants to. These little Oracle Harpies needs to be cleared out before the goal here without having any sort of lifesteal either. It was a very ambitious play from XenoTronics despite being level 20 Hui.
Yeah, this gold tier, now kind of just belongs to Luminosity. Yeah, coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? I mean, that's one of those plays that you kind of kick yourself forward down the line. As we said, AI, they're out of it. They're just kind of playing spoiler. Aror gets his night spoiled.
Aror is out of it completely.
Yeah, I mean, he got collapsed on. What are you going to do there? Mask, though, looking to force the issue, lands directly onto the best. And as I borrow that line from Toli, Mask is going to borrow a play from Chapo, teleporting to the other side of the lane. And it's XenoTronics that takes care of him. Doesn't matter if he's on the left or right side of the team fight. He's going down.
Xenos might go down as well, trying to jump into the safety of the tier 2 tower, but jumping into more members from Luminosity. Nowhere to go. A 3 for 1 is Luminosity. They get these kills, and now they're going to get some towers to be rewarded.
What just happened?
It was just Aror getting caught out of position. Without Auror's damage or his sprint, and then as well as his bolstered defenses, that's a lot of utility taken away from AI. And in a 5v4 situation, Mask was just feeling really ambitious and bold by diving the backline, getting the beads from the best. Despite sacrificing himself, he allows the kill onto the best, which in turn allows the dive onto XenoTronics. And whether or not they kill XenoTronics, if you take away a mid-mage for a jungler, that's going to allow Luminosity to continue the siege on these towers without having to worry about the counter clear.
And because of that, the game is completely tied. Team AI, previously in the lead by over 6,000 gold, now just completely lose it in the case of 2 separate team fights. 37 minutes in, everything tied. Experience and gold, as irrelevant as they are tied now. And the kills, 30 to 25. Still very, very close game. Anybody can bring this one home. Luminosity actually not fighting to go home, but to go away. Should they win just a single game here, folks, they're able to go ahead and just punch their ticket to Valencia.
And the thing is, this late game knowledge and experience from Luminosity as a unit heavily outweighs the amount of playing time that AI has together. So I'm definitely giving the slight edge for Luminosity to be able to coordinate their tactics and forces together to secure this win.
Yeah, I mean, JeffHindla and BaRRaCCuDDa have been landing together for 4 years? 3 years?
About 2.5 to 3 years.
It's 2017.
Right after launch tournament. It was right after launch tournament.
Launch tournament was 2013.
It was March 2014.
14?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Time flies when you Smite on.
Man. Oh, well, I guess when you're right, you're right. So about 3 years. Yeah, March is we're in our summer split heading towards July. Valencia will be July 10th. No, July 12th, actually. My mistake. And they'll be there. We'll see our teams fighting for their summer crown in DreamHack. Portal Demon spawning. Luminosity have control of it. Likely will finish it as well. Divios trying to push his way to the front, but will be kept at bay by the bouncers. Scary D gets controlled by the jungler. Chopper with a great ultimate, but Mask with one better. Falling right down on the Hun Batz and taking him out to the cleaners. Divios in trouble. Jumps out to the left. Scary D following up. BaRRaCCuDDa finishing him down. And there's a roar. Great chains!
He find the pull onto Scary D, but he has to retreat because he just takes too much in return. Baskin with the hot supernova and stellar burst, forcing away the God of War, and that's going to be a clean 2-0 for Luminosity.
Full back as they have the portal open from the guys on LG. They're going to walk right through the portal. Look at the Fire Giant. And hope Best doesn't steal it a second time.
Probably won't be able to do so considering how far away he is. The Fire Giant has been secured. Luminosity are now in position to get into Valencia if they can just find this one Titan. They have the Fire Giant buff on all 5 members.
Yeah, you can see Jeff just marching up the right side lane, looking to take care of this tower. As BaRRaCCuDDa is the one that does the damage to it. Mask shows up, hits it twice, and down it goes. Crumble to the ground. It's 1,500. Gets put in the pockets of Team AI.
Slow and steady for Luminosity. They've got the tier 2 tower when they arrive. Beads even being used here from, Mask's beads are on cooldown here. They secure the right side Phoenix as well. Scared, you're going to zone away Aror, preventing any sort of shenanigans out of that one. And with 2 Phoenixes down, Luminosity, they're going to try to swing on over to the left.
Yeah, they want to play it safe, totally. No reason to just go for the team fight just yet. Want to absolutely make sure everything is in the clear. As I said, a very big game. The biggest game of the split, perhaps, for Luminosity here as they're trying to deal with Team AI, who had a very successful early and mid-game. BaRRaCCuDDa getting turned on. There's Chapo. There's Aror. And there's Chapo one more time. Overhand smash puts BaRRaCCuDDa back in the fountain. Mask looking for him, and Chapo's aggression gets paid out by Baskin.
Sun zoning away a few more members. Scary D zoning away 4 here with JeffHindla. Very low, having to retreat as Divios is going to jump onto that solo lane, or Stellar Burst going to zone away Aror as he gets slowed. And it's going to be a clean disengage as it was a 1-for-1 Hunter for jungler.
The problem is Team AI, they don't have the Fire Giant like Luminosity does across the way, so all the damage that AI dealt out to Luminosity without getting kills, looking at mainly at Scary D, who does go to base. Even if they Luminosity didn't have to base, was my point there. They could have taken the 4-on-4 and just walked up a lane, but instead opted to play it, like I said, very safe.
They wanted to strip away some buffs potentially, so they got the speed buff away from Chapo, but because the fact that we saw BaRRaCCuDDa not having his beads available at the time, he was able, and his Aegis rather, he was able to just get instantly turned on here between the Fear No Evil and then all the chain damage from Aror. But granted, it was a very nice counter petrify to give himself some CC immunity during that ultimate.
Just not enough to keep himself alive, unfortunately, and with Barrett down, I mean, that's a large part of the damage for his team number 3 after Baskin, who's just been crushing it. 51,000 player damage in 41 minutes of play. That is, wow, that is a lot.
Whenever you have a Fafnir that can just amplify your attack speed as a soul, you can go into the straight-up magical power, which is why we're seeing Rod of Tahuti and the Bancroft's talent, even opting to go for the Mantle of Discord, trying to be more tanky whenever we're seeing Divios, Chapo, and Aurora dive the backline consistently.
Yeah, I really like to see these abilities come out from, or these items rather, come out from Soul, and let's look at the damage she's able to really dish out. Those basics are troublesome. Mask goes into the sky looking for the surprise ultimate, and teammate I have no clue. They are not aware. He's going to land down on 2 and just teleport out.
A little anticlimactic for the jungler out of Luminosity, but, you know, seeing what he can get away with, still having Fire Giant for 45 seconds, he's not going to have that ultimate ready for the next siege before the Fire Giant respawn. However, there is every single relic available for Luminosity.
And they get a gold.
Well, considering that it's in the late game, there's still that 3K gold potions that can be purchased, whether you're looking at the physical power, in terms of, I think it's like 20 or 25% extra damage, or you're looking at that 50 extra bonus protections.
Yeah, so we'll see. Instead, it's just going to be health pots and wards.
For the time being, they're still building into it.
There's a 500 pot coming out from our Medusa player, BaRRaCCuDDa.
just trying to get any sort of advantage that they can here. Is everything on the line for Luminosity? The fate still rests in their own hands. The same cannot be said here on the side of E United, that really needs to rely on AI to win here.
All right, well, we see Baskin does have a DC, so we're going to pause it out real quick. Team AI versus Luminosity, 43 minutes into this one. I think the writing's on the wall, but still, AI do have to play defense here to what LG is able to do, so we'll see what happens when Baskin gets back in game.
And considering how aggressive AI has been this whole game, I don't expect them to take their foot off the pedal here. The way they've been able to just make BaRRaCCuDDa's life more difficult than it needs to be has been a great, successful strategy for them.
Yeah, that's really been the key. Early on, you saw Aror and Elchapo just both combining their ultimates, trying to get everybody to lose their relics and then take advantage of it. And like you said, it has been BaRRaCCuDDa that winds up on the bottom side of those things, unfortunately for him. But fortunately for the guys on AI, absolutely making sure they're able to do work.
And just goes to show that AI, they haven't mentally checked out of the split despite not being able to get out of relegations, right? We saw how Noble was able to get that 2-0 victory over Flashpoint, which avoided relegations for themselves, but AI, they still have enough to prove for themselves and are using this as a learning ground moving forward.
That's what it is. It's about the practice for me. I think that you're taking, anytime you go to scrims, it's a very different feel versus when you're doing things live and looking at the high end, right? When you're on SPL, it's a very different feel, very different battleground, very different platform. So that's the best way you can really get that practice. We'll head back into game here. Baskin's certainly going to fix his situation up, and we'll see the conclusion of game number 1.
Heading into the 44-minute mark, Luminosity are trying to get this Portal Demon as the Fire Giant's going to respawn in 20 seconds. It's very important now to try to get this best possible positioning. And speaking of the best here, he's going to be the key factor for AI to stop this Fire Giant.
Yeah, the Portal Demon certainly not going to be stopped, but AI have their eyes as Luminosity will look towards the Fire Giant as soon as it spawns, just a little bit. skirmishes trying to place some vision and get rid of the enemies, and we'll see a little bit of mid-harpy farm for no reason, but everybody going to come through. Baskin making sure to pick up that red buff. That buff is so important in the late game. So very important. Just amplifying that damage so much so.
Fire Giant being started here by Luminosity. skirmishes is taking it up while BaRRaCCuDDa is going to be securing that one. Meanwhile, Baskin wasn't there. He was in the mid-wave clearing it out. Had he been there, that Fire Giant could have been very low, maybe even completed.
Yeah, I mean, the damage that Baskin's bringing is perhaps the most. I mean, it's the most player damage we can see, but even on the objectives, BaRRaCCuDDa is going to be a big damage source there, and Baskin just as much. See, look, he's hitting it for 230 each. That's pretty big.
Oh my goodness, it's already less than half health. Girdle has been popped as well. Fire Giant being contested.
Chapo
diving the back line.
Another steal. AI take it away again. Chapo runs away like a bandit, holding on to 25% HP or less. And XenoTronics that's in trouble. skirmishes get it surrounded. And the best able to take down skirmishes. It's a 1-for-1, and AI steal away the Fire Giant, but LG want to fight anyway.
They want to try to catch somebody out of position. Not able to really catch anyone, though, except for XenoTronics with a nice little dive from skirmishes and JeffHindla. But like I said before, the damage has just been so clear from AI. It wasn't even a final judgment that was stolen. It was Chapo that created so much disruption with that just one Fear No Evil.
I mean, everybody's getting crowd controlled by it. So by the time that you see the relics come out, well, the Fire Giant's already dead. Chapo actually gets the last hit. I think it was a tick from the ultimate.
That is just the most unfortunate set of circumstances for Luminosity to have their game rely on this Fire Giant that was stolen twice already this game. Once from TheBest, and now a second time from Chapo.
So that Chapo play, I mean, is that Luminosity has to do a better job of zoning right there, right?
There's just too many angles to zone from because TheBest range is just out of this world. And then you have a blink on both Aror and Chapo that can come in at different angles as well.
Sure.
You can have all the vision you want in the world. It's all about zoning to the point where you know AI is not going to be close enough to secure it or to contest it, or at least the key members. You're really looking to make sure that Best is not in range or Chapo with the ultimate.
Chapo certainly was in range, and let's go, Papo, is exactly what he's saying. As him and his team collect the Fire Giant belt. They're going to march up the left side lane looking for the tier 1, and that one will come relatively easily. Divios clearing out the wave, allowing his team to walk up towards the tier 2. Also going to go down relatively easily. Is the only one even thinking about defending a Scary D, but he quickly changes his mind.
Emperor's armor also on Divios, which is going to not only protect his own Phoenixes, but make these towers and Phoenixes from Luminosity a little weaker than anticipated. So that's going to be an easier siege as the Fire Giant is still around their waist for another minute and 45 seconds.
Divios and team pushing up the mid lane. Here comes the Phoenix, half HP. Divios leading the charge. Big ultimate coming out, just trying to get tanky enough to make sure that him and his team can secure it. Meanwhile, Mask on the left side, take it to the sky. Phoenix falls down. Aurora and Xeno gets landed on by the ultimate out of the Thor, but Chapo one more time with a strong ult. This time, can't get away. BaRRaCCuDDa takes down the jungler.
Sacrificing his life for the greater good in the middle. Phoenix, but the question is, can Luminosity chase everyone down? A lot of mobility on the side of AI. If you think about the Nike passive, Scary D, though, doesn't care. He's going to chase down Aror, putting him into combat, finding a second kill onto AI. They lost their middle Phoenix, but Luminosity are not deterred. They have all 5 members strong, and they're sieging down this weakened middle Phoenix.
Divios, TheBest, and XenoTronics do have what it takes to play defense here. Against 5, it will be tough, but they do have the Fire Giant to amplify their damage. TheBest can shoot from a distance, which is a very valuable tool. Divios up front does not have the ultimate just yet. Mid Phoenix goes down. Scary D headed back to base.
They want nothing to do with any more team fights. Just going to regroup a little bit further. BaRRaCCuDDa clearing out these backside harpies. I thought he was doing this for the lifesteal, but he doesn't have any lifesteal items inside. So just wasting time. I think they were maybe waiting for an ambush potentially if AI overextend past their base.
Yeah, I think they were looking, hey, we can turn on them, no problem. You take a look at the ultimates. Mask is the only one with his ultimate available, but even still, I mean, 100 at this stage of the game. BaRRaCCuDDa, you saw what he did to the Chapo. Couple of basics and you're a dead man, so.
Yeah, just not able to really find a escape route for that jungler, but it was able to secure the objective in middle at least. So having some fire minions trickle down that mid lane will now contest the fire minions out of Luminosity. And BaRRaCCuDDa hasn't had the cleanest game of all times. He's been heavily focused, like we were talking about before, the heavy dive composition out of AI.
And that's, you know, almost to no fault of BaRRaCCuDDa's. He only has his one set of relics. Divios getting collapsed on this time around. Mask will quickly walk away. And Chapo over the walls to safety. Portal Demon started up by Luminosity as we get closer and closer to an hour of gameplay.
50 minutes about to reach on the clock. This Portal Demon gets secured by Luminosity. Fire Giant will respawn in 20 seconds, so they'll have about a small window to start up the Fire Giant. If things get a little hairy, they can maybe back off and take the portal one last time.
We'll see Luminosity filter through here. Scary D back into base. He'll likely show up very, very soon. But Luminosity trying to get their positioning here intact. Fire Giant wakes on up. And Luminosity are ready to dance. Looking first at AI, however.
Trying to position themselves with some wards, seeing who they can catch out of position. All they need to make sure is they have eyes on Chapo, Aror, and TheBest. Those 3 are your primary targets if you're Luminosity.
Right now, the primary target is going to be the Fire Giant. Divios is here and available. Aror gets stunned out, but still certainly around. Fire Giant leashed out, and here's a little bit of, I won't call it a charge, a sauntering forward by Team AI.
They're going to think about going in here, though. Scary D gets poked out a little bit, forcing out the jump from XenoTronics. Scary D just walks on forward. Girdle means go from JeffHindla, and Mask takes to the sky.
Looking for the play on the right side, lands on a few. XenoTronics in trouble, drops down the Suns, but he's the one that's in most trouble. Aurora not going to get a pull. It's Scary D that gets the kill on the X-Man.
They're not done yet, though, because
that's
AI respond in kind. Scary D gets taken out. It's Luminosity that's on the retreat. Baskin was so distracted by Elchapo in the back.
That's what he's been doing so many times, just finding these distractions, whether they result in kills or not. The application of the team fight winds up being so impressive because it keeps the main guy out. Almost 60,000 damage coming out from both of our mid laners, but Baskin is who I'm talking about. And if Chapo's able to drag him out of the team fight, his job is done. And
what's really funny about between Baskin and TheBest, between these two mid mages, is TheBest used to be the solo laner for Denial, and it was actually Baskin that replaced him after the fact.
Oh wow, yeah, that one's going back. So we'll see. Aurora looking towards the mid lane. He's going to get stunned out on the right-hand side. Trouble is Mask and BaRRaCCuDDa come through and just keeping Divios at bay.
trying to find any sort of poke potential, and with the range from Thoth, Best is able to exploit that one. Forced into retreatment is going to be BaRRaCCuDDa. Without any lifesteal, he has to back to base, and that alone could force AI to get that Fire Giant.
Yeah, we're going to see 2 backs of pace, however, from Team AI. Both, well, everybody, full retreat coming out from AI, and Luminosity sees that. AI retreated in vision of LG on purpose. I mean, it's not like that was an accident.
No, not at all. It seemed that AI wanted to back to base to make sure there was going to be no fire minions entering their Titan room or that middle Phoenix that has just respawned. Not only that, TheBest is going for that red buff, and a red buff on this level 20 Thoth, that's going to be the determining factor.
Yeah, red buff is really big late game. Winds up just amplifying your damage as the game goes later and later. It's multiplicative. Right side, looking towards the Fire Giant. It's going to be both teams. Luminosity in position, starting it in fact, bringing it down to about 75% HP. AI now here, looking for a little bit of help is Scary T.
Look at Chapo.
Trying to zone.
Look at Chapo on the right-hand side, just waiting around like a true jungler, trying to flank, trying to find that perfect blink engagement. Luminosity are very low on the Fire Giant, less than 25% health. Aror creating a distraction on the front. Mask going in the scout, and Chapo coming from behind.
There's going to be the hit onto Divios. Big damage onto the support, but he ultimates and changes his life. Divios still in trouble. XenoTronics with the Dumayun. 2 kills for the Hunter. This could go the way of AI. There's going to be trouble for Baskin. Surrounded by red jerseys, trip skis as XenoTronics rolls all natural 6s. TheBest picks up 1 as well. 4 players dead for LG. JeffHindla in trouble. Chapo giving the chase, but the guys on Team AI, Tully, they're walking down the mid lane.
They're going for it. They know it's their time to shine. As long as Chapo can stop the back from JeffHindla, it's going to be a 3-for-0 against the Titan room. It's going to be very easy. Chapo, he was being such a nuisance against Baskin earlier on. Now he's going to be even more of a nuisance against JeffHindla and the rest of Luminosity.
Chapo gets the kill. The Titan is next. Luminosity need 1 win to make it to DreamHack Valencia, but this game will not be it. Team AI in a fantastic, explosive team fight take the game away from LG in the almost an hour worth of play.
What a game from AI. They are going to compete until their last dying breath. You are not going to take that away from them any single moment. And Luminosity, they have a second chance still in the second game. There's going to be some small adjustments needed to be made, and in terms of surviving that dive potential.
You know, it's interesting. Big picture, when you want to replace players, right? When you're trying to find replacements, it's very important to find the right replacement. We applauded the guys on United for replacing a player coach type guy in Pain to Beyond with Polar Bear Mike, another player coach type guy. When you're replacing somebody on Team AI, a team that, look, the split's basically over, we're not going to be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, right? You got to find the guy that's going to keep playing till the buzzer rings no matter what. That's Chapo. And that's Xeno. You know, these guys, specifically Chapo, however, but Xeno fits that bill as well. These guys coming in, you know they're going to play no matter the circumstances. That's why AI, win this game.
Great.